In today's lesson, we're diving into three intriguing English idioms: below the belt, to the teeth, and split hairs. These idioms add depth and color to our language, so let's explore them together. Let's kick things off with our first idiom, below the belt. This expression means to use unfair or hurtful tactics, often in an argument or competition, that cross the line of what's considered acceptable or sportsmanlike. Imagine a boxing match where hitting your opponent below the belt, in the sensitive area, is against the rules. If you do it, you're playing unfairly and using tactics that hurt your opponent. Here's a sentence using this idiom. Bringing up someone's personal problems in an argument is hitting below the belt. So, when someone goes below the belt, they're being unfair or unkind. Our second idiom is to the teeth. This phrase means to be fully armed or prepared for something, often to an extreme degree. Imagine a soldier equipped with every weapon and piece of gear possible, ready for battle. They're to the teeth. Here's a sentence using this idiom. She came to the job interview prepared to the teeth with her qualifications and portfolio. So, when someone is to the teeth, they're not holding back and are fully prepared. Our third idiom is split hairs. This expression means to argue about very small or unimportant details, often in a way that seems overly critical or nitpicky. Imagine someone carefully dividing a single hair into smaller and smaller pieces. They're splitting hairs. Here's a sentence using this idiom. Stop splitting hairs and focus on the big picture. We need to finish this project. So, when someone splits hairs, they're being overly focused on tiny details that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. These idioms, below the belt, to the teeth, and split hairs, add depth and richness to our language. Keep practicing them, and soon you'll use them like a pro. Now, let's listen to a story, and pay close attention to how these idioms are used.
The Duel of Wits. In the grand halls of Ridgewood University, two brilliant minds, Professor Edmund Caldwell and Professor Victoria Chambers, were known far and wide for their intellectual prowess. They were revered for their debates and discussions, which often left audiences in awe of their knowledge and wit. One fateful afternoon, the university's chancellor announced a high-stakes debate competition, where the winner would be granted a prestigious research grant. Both professors saw this as an opportunity to secure funding for their groundbreaking projects. As the debate drew nearer, the tension between Professor Caldwell and Professor Chambers escalated. They were well aware of each other's strengths and weaknesses, and they were prepared to go to the teeth to claim victory. The topic of the debate was the ethics of artificial intelligence. Professor Caldwell argued that AI could be a boon to humanity if handled responsibly, while Professor Chambers believed it was a Pandora's box that should remain closed. The debate was sure to be a clash of titans. On the day of the debate, the auditorium was filled to capacity. The professors took their positions at the podiums, the atmosphere charged with anticipation. The debate began, and both professors presented compelling arguments, quoting studies and research that supported their viewpoints. As the debate progressed, it became clear that Professor Caldwell had the upper hand. His arguments were well-structured and supported by solid evidence. Professor Chambers, feeling the pressure, decided to employ a tactic she knew was below the belt. In her rebuttal, Professor Chambers made a personal attack on Professor Caldwell's character, insinuating that his enthusiasm for AI was driven by personal gain and greed. The audience gasped at the low blow, but Professor Caldwell remained composed and focused on the topic at hand. However, the attack had rattled him, and Professor Chambers seized the opportunity. She continued to hit below the belt, resorting to name-calling and mocking Professor Caldwell's research. The debate took a nasty turn, and the audience grew uncomfortable. As the final round approached, Professor Caldwell knew he had to regain control of the debate without resorting to the same tactics. He decided to split hairs by dissecting the intricacies of AI ethics, addressing every point raised by Professor Chambers with meticulous precision. With each argument, Professor Caldwell showed that he had considered every angle and nuance of the topic. He didn't just address the broad strokes. He delved into the fine details, leaving no room for doubt. As the debate concluded, the Chancellor and the audience were left in awe of Professor Caldwell's depth of knowledge and his ability to remain composed under fire. Professor Chambers' below-the-belt tactics had backfired, and the audience recognized it. The judges announced Professor Caldwell as the winner, not only for his eloquence but for his unwavering commitment to the topic without resorting to personal attacks. He had emerged victorious, securing the coveted research grant. The duel of wits had revealed not only the importance of rigorous debate, but also the consequences of playing unfairly. Professor Caldwell's dedication to addressing every detail without splitting hairs had earned him the respect of his peers and the admiration of the university. As for Professor Chambers, she learned that true victory lay in the strength of one's arguments and not in below-the-belt tactics. The debate had been a lesson in integrity and the power of intellectual rigor.